What's up everyone, welcome back to Blood, Sweat and Gears. My name is Sander, and today we're working on a 2006 Saab 9.3 Aero with a 2.8 liter V6. Now we are fighting a bit of a trouble code, this one here. Basically it's saying that the fuel pressure that the car is commanding is not reacting to the fuel pressure that it's seeing. Now typically this could be a fuel pump, but it could also be a couple other issues. Now we have already run a fuel system cleaner through the car with a full tank of gas. That helped for about 2 weeks, and then the light just came right back anyways. So we're going to be replacing a couple of parts today that are pretty easy to get to in hopes that it'll solve this issue, and if not, well, we got to drop the tank for a fuel pump. Now the parts we're replacing are these two. It's a fuel pressure sensor that is underneath the hood in case that the sensor is going bad and it's seeing the incorrect fuel pressure. Hopefully with a new sensor it'll see it correctly and that light will go away. The other one is a relay that is inside the car. Now this one is what actually commands the whole module to change the fuel pressure. Now there's no fuel pressure regulator on this car. It's a variable speed pump. Basically, the computer tells the car to increase the fuel pressure by increasing the speed of the pump or decrease it, vice versa. Now, without having a fuel pressure regulator and it's all electronically controlled, hopefully these two parts will make the sensors and the module happy, and if not, again, we'll have to replace the fuel pump. Now, we were going to do a fuel filter as well. We actually did buy the part for it. However, upon further research, we realized that the inline fuel filters are typically on the European cars, like in the UK. The US model cars have the fuel filter with the whole fuel pump assembly inside the tank. So if the fuel filter is getting clogged, then it means it needs a whole new pump anyways. That's a pretty big job. It requires dropping the whole fuel tank. So we're going to try these two quick and easy fixes, see if that makes the code go away and stay away, and if not, well, we have a bigger video coming down the road in the future. First things first, we have this, which is our fuel pressure sensor. Now it is on the fuel rail and it detects the pressure that's actually going into the fuel injectors in the whole fuel system. We have our new sensor here. We can see it's an exact fit. So first things first, we got to unbolt that guy, remove it from the car. Now we do need to be a little bit careful, as if there is still some remaining pressure inside the line, that could squirt out some fuel when we unbolt this. Now the car has pretty much fully cooled down. It's still a little warm here and there, but I don't think it's going to be too hot for us to work on or worry about anything there. Just in case, always, of course, I have a fire extinguisher on hand in case anything does go wrong, which we definitely have. So let's see if we can get this guy unclipped first. There we go. Before we remove it, just so we are on a safe page, we can plug this new one in, make sure it fits. And it does. I'm not going to fully clip it in, but that is definitely the right part there. Now we need it looks like two 10 mils, maybe a little bit smaller, and we can pull the old sensor off. So just to be safe and make our life a little bit easier, there's a fuel pressure port here where you can typically hook in to measure the fuel pressure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff a rag underneath there and relieve some of the pressure from the line in case there is any, to avoid us getting sprayed in the face. We're going to remove the cap from the service port, like so. And then it's just a little Schrader valve, much like a flow valve on a tire. I don't have any kind of proper tooling for this, but I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver and gently poke this down and relieve some of that pressure. And there we go. Now we have removed the pressure and remaining fuel from the system. Of course, there's some around here, but all the exhaust is pretty much on the other side of the engine. So we should be pretty safe here. Of course, nothing's caught on fire yet, so that's a good sign. So I couldn't find a extension for the 3/8 ratchet. And we also couldn't find any deep sockets, so we're going a little bit overkill with a 1/2-inch drive with a very extensively long extension. But this will at least give us the room we need to work with this, and it'll still work. Just a little overkill. Of course, we just need to be careful not to over torque it when we're putting it back on with such large tools. And there is the other. Ring is nice and tight. There was still some pressure in that line, but we got it out. Some fuel everywhere. We'll clean it up in just a moment. Let's pop in our new sensor. Now you can imagine, you saw what a spray that was just pulling this off. So you can imagine, if you don't relieve the pressure, how much more intense that would have been, and how much more fuel would have sprayed everywhere, even though it already did a little bit. Alright, so we've got the new sensor installed, bolts are torqued down, and the clip is back on. So I'm going to get the relay changed next, but before we actually start the car after the relay's changed, we're going to cycle the key a few times now. This fuel pressure rail is out of fuel pressure, so we're going to rebuild that pressure back and wash this area, make sure it's not leaking. We'll do that here in just a minute. Next, we're going to swap out this 5-prong relay. Now, this is located inside the car in the passenger footwell. Now, I've only saw about one forum thread that talked about this relay, but this is what actually controls the whole sending unit for the fuel pump with its variable speed. Now, this is likely not a failure point or a cause of our issue, but it's super easy to change, so we figured while we're here, might as well give this a shot as well, see if it changes anything, and of course, if not, again, we're going to do that fuel pump. So we are now inside the car. This is the passenger footwell, and that relay is located right underneath his kick panel. You can see it's cut out where the hood release would be on the UK cars. So we're going to remove some of the trim from inside here, get this panel off, and see if we can locate that relay in here. I'm going to start by pulling back this door trim here for the seal. We're going to start with the actual rocker panel trim instead, because that is over top of this one. So we'll remove this piece first, and then we can get to removing that one. Now, these should be pretty easy to remove. Just get your hands or even a pry tool, plastic pry tool behind it. Just watch the wiring that runs along the sill, and these should just pop out. There's one clip, and then one in the rear, like so. A couple of easy clips right there. Now that we have that trim panel removed, we can get working on removing this one here. Again, this should just be a process of a couple of simple clips, some patience, and some pressure. There's 2, and 3, and the whole panel comes right out. It's going to be a little bit tough to see on camera here, but the relay is actually just up here, up behind this yellow clip. So we're going to get this unplugged, unhooked from the car. It looks like it's just feels like a 10mm nut there, and this relay should come right out. Alright, back in the car. I ended up not using the ratchet wrench. I just couldn't get it all the way in there and actually be able to turn it. I just used a ratchet, again 1/2 inch, because it's the only thing that I could find that would fit. But here you can see that relay. It is zip tied from the factory like so. So we're just going to try to slide the zip tie off here. There we go. And then it should just be as simple as pushing the clips to get this guy out of here. Oh, there you go. It's not even clipped. You just pull it off like so. There's the old relay. Nice Bosch relay. There's a part number here for you. So let me grab the new one, and we'll get that thrown on there and see if it helps. So here's the new one again. Now this is an aftermarket part because I don't believe the Bosch one's in production anymore. But all we got to do is just get this slotted on. It'll only go on one way due to the orientation of the tabs. And to make sure this guy doesn't go anywhere, I'm going to just use the same zip tie that was already on here and just slide it back over like so. And you can see it was just held on by one of these 10mm body nuts. So we're going to get this guy slid back onto the stud through that little hole in the relay, and then get the 10mm put back on, and we are all done. Aside from putting the interior back together, but that's just 2 panels. Just like that. Now we can take our interior trim pieces, slide them back into place. Make sure we get it behind the door seals, like so. And just pop the clips back in. Very nice. Let's get the clips lined up. There we go. Start to slide the door trim over a little bit. No, not quite. There we go. Just like that, nice and easy. Now we're going to take our key here, cycle it back and forth a few times, of course on for a few seconds, off, on for a few seconds, just running that fuel pump and checking for leaks at that fuel pressure sensor. So far so good, no leaks that we can see here. Alright, we've been cycling the key. No leaks that we can tell at that sensor. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually start the car, inspect the sensor once more as it's running, make sure it's running okay. Sometimes the code will clear itself if the issue has been resolved. Sometimes it needs to be cleared manually, but we're just going to basically give it some time and see what happens. Of course, no guarantee that this issue is now fixed, but we can hope. So that looks all good. Of course, the check engine light doesn't go away right away, so we're going to have to give that some time. Drive it for a little bit, see if it clears itself. If not, we'll clear it, see if it comes back. But of course, this is all a fingers crossed process to hopefully fix this issue. And again, if not, the fuel pump is going to be going in the sink in the future. Again, involves dropping the fuel tank. Well, that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Wish us luck on this fuel code. I'll leave in the description if it goes away or if we're going to have to keep working on this. So thank you again for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.